Hello, thank you for joining me. How present do you feel in this moment? How conscious do you feel? How aware are you? Let's ponder on that today. Let's talk a little bit about being really present and grounded. And let's talk a little bit about our conscious awareness. And it's interesting to ponder that and to question ourselves and to really monitor too as we move about through our day. How conscious and aware are we? How focused are we? How present are we? So how conscious and aware are we of our immediate surroundings, our environment, the external energy around us, and how conscious and aware are we of our internal environment? What are we feeling? How are we feeling? And is that related to our inner experience or our outer experience? What is it? What is it for you to be very present and conscious and aware in each and every moment? How does that feel? What does it look like? I work with this really simple exercise. It's very grounding, actually, and it's very tangible because it allows us to really monitor what we're doing with our energy. Are we experiencing our energy, the energy around us, others' energy? And it's just very, very simple. So let's have a little play with that. I call it walking consciously through every door. So how many doors do we go through every day, even in our house, before we even leave home, or if we're staying at home? And certainly if we're going out, we actually move through doorways. If we're shopping, we're doing chores and errands in town. If we're working, depending where we work, what's it like at our workplace? How many doorways do we go through? So it's about walking consciously through every doorway. And we can start at home, start very simply. Of course, we can start right at our front door. We can begin, okay, I'm at our front door, let's begin there. So to walk consciously through that very first doorway. So we take a breath. I'm here, present with myself, grounding. Okay. And this exercise, walking consciously through every door, it's about being present, of course, but it's about being conscious of the space that we're in. It's being conscious of the space that we're leaving, and it's being conscious of the space that we're entering. So there is a lot of presence and awareness and conscious focus that's really necessary in such a very simple exercise, so that we become, as we move through our day, we become conscious and aware of the spaces that we're moving through, of the energy around us, of how we are feeling, how we're relating with that. And we're conscious of the spaces that we're moving through, the spaces that we're leaving, the spaces that we're entering. And it can be really fun and can be very confronting as well. We're at the front door, let's begin there. Okay, so just get really, really grounded and present and feel whatever you're feeling. And acknowledge too, I'm going to enter my home. This is my front door. And so here I am at the front door. You're aware of the space around you, of the energy around you, and I'm going to walk consciously through this door. So you might put your hand on the door handle, and let's work with something very simple. Let's just go thank you. Let's work with gratitude. So I'm here Thank you. I'm grounded, I'm present, I'm here. Thank you. And just being very conscious and aware of the space that you're leaving, which is at the front of your house, at your front door. Perhaps it's on a veranda, perhaps it's in a hallway if you are in an apartment building. Whatever that is, just be aware of that. Thank you. You got your hand on the door handle. Maybe you've had to unlock it. You've turned the key. Okay, now let's open that door and let's go through. And you're feeling the space that you're leaving, the outside of your home. And you're walking through the door. And as you're walking through the door, bring your focus to, your awareness to the space that you're entering. So that's your home. That might be like a foyer, that might just be whatever that space is that you're entering, and feel the energies there. Thank you. And then you might close that door behind you. So we're going to work with every door that you open, and of course in the house, and it is very simple, we're going to include the toilet and the bathroom, every door. And in an interesting way, they're mini portals through the space that we're moving through. That's kind of a fun way to look at it too. For a start, you might go, oh, this is going to take me so long to just, and it's so annoying to have to stop at every doorway, because you will get to see how much you rush around as well, how much you just rush through doorways, you rush in the front door, you rush out the door. And particularly if you're getting in a car and you're driving, we're going to be totally stop right there and get really, really conscious, grounded, focused, and really deeply acknowledge that with your hand on your car door, you're going to acknowledge, you're going to get in this car, you're going to be so present, so conscious and aware. You don't just want to jump in your car and take off, because in the car is one of the most dangerous places you'll be in the day, when you get in your car and you go out into the traffic. If everyone was so conscious and present and aware, it would be a different experience out there. But it is dangerous, and stuff happens, and a lot of crashes and incidences that occur has got a lot to do with just not being present, not being on automatron. Just, you know, the road, and you just get in, and if you ever got in the car and got out the end, your destination, and go, gosh, how did I get here? We have to resolve that. That has to stop. Anyway, let's get back to the annoying component of walking consciously through every door. We'll get to the car in another moment. It shows us how much we rush through our day just without that awareness, without that conscious awareness of what we're feeling, what is our experience, and what's the energy around us. And we're often very busy, and we're wanting just to get to the next moment, and that's where we're not grounded. When we're always rushing, we're trying to be a little ahead of ourselves, and we've felt that anxiety. And the anxiety, in a very simple way, is about not being present in the moment. So we're always just a little bit in the future, we're a little bit ahead, and that creates that anxiety, because we're just out of the moment, we're focused in the future. And when we're experiencing more of a slump, more of a weighty kind of depressive experience, where we might be lamenting the past, we're not in the present moment, we're in the past. So the depression has a lot to do with not being present, but being in the past, whereas anxiety has a lot to do with rushing, just being in the future. We want to be present, and some of those feelings just might catch up with us, and we might get to process through them when we get really present. But just as a fun exercise, in the house, consciously through every door. And so it might be the kitchen. You might have a door on your kitchen, you might have a door on your bedroom, there's the toilet, there's the bathroom, there's the back door into maybe your backyard, into your garden. You might even have a fence around your yard. We will do that as well. That, not a closed door as such, but it's a boundary. It is part of a space. It's part of defining a space. So you've got your fence as well. If you go out through your gate onto the street or into the park, whatever, lovely, if your house backs onto a park where you can go out a gate and into some lovely nature. But every doorway, it doesn't have to be, it can be a glass door, it's an entry or an exit boundary. It defines between spaces, because we want to be conscious and aware of the spaces we're moving into, and conscious and aware of the spaces that we're leaving and that we're moving through. So just begin there in your home and see how that feels. And I can guarantee it will get pretty annoying and frustrating, because what it's also doing is you're getting more present. You're starting to really feel how you feel, and you will feel resistance to doing this exercise as well. Like, no, I'm just gonna go back to just moving about and not concerning myself with the doorways. But it's like, when you start it, you really do need to continue with this and explore it, because there's a greater part of you that you're accessing. You're accessing more of a higher identification in yourself, and that part really wants to explore and really wants to be here. And it is you, of course, so more of you can come in and really get present, conscious, aware and focused in the now moment. So have a play with that. And within your space, you're aware of your space. Let's go to the bedroom door, and it's closed, so let's open that. So you're conscious and aware of the space that you're in. Maybe it's a hallway that you've walked down. Maybe it's coming out of whatever the space is around you. Just be aware of that, and then put your hand on the door. I'm here, I'm present, I'm grounded, thank you. And then open that door and feel yourself very consciously moving through that doorway. Feel the energy, feel the difference between the space you're leaving and the space you're entering. Feel, if it's your room, then there's your energy, and it might be that that space where you can really be calm and relaxed. Whatever the feelings are in your space, of course you're recognizing that. So just feel that difference walking through that doorway into that new space. And so you're aware of the space that you came through, that you left and moved into this space. And then moving back out of your room, close the door and feel your room, however that feels. And I don't know, I was sensing, I gotta tidy my room or clean my room. Well, they're just part of it too. It's part of life, part of living, part of, making a mess and cleaning it up. But whatever the feelings are, maybe your room gives you a very peaceful, really beautiful sense of your own things that you love. You've got things in there that you love, things around you. You might have nice pictures, you might have some of your nice crystals, or just things that you love. That's part of how you've created your space. This is your room. Okay, so you've closed the door again. Let's now go out of the room. So you're in your room and you're feeling that space. And now open your door. Wow, thank you. I'm here. So you're aware, of course, of the space you're leaving and now the space that you're entering. You feel the difference, feel the energy as you walk through that doorway. It can be very tangible. And for you to feel that too, you're perhaps moving slowly for a moment, but your sensory is heightened. Your consciousness is coming into this present moment, and your awareness, you've got your feelers out and you're sensing and you're feeling, and you're really consciously experiencing the subtleties of just moving through this doorway, this space, and then you're in the hallway or the next room. So feel that. And it can be really interesting. Just pondering the kitchen. The kitchen might not have a doorway. What if you've got a really open plan place? Some people I know, they have a very open plan. They might live by themselves when they have a very open plan little unit. But have a look around you at what defines those spaces. We do often have an open plan, particularly in Australia, and here in Western Australia. I lived in Queensland, very open plan because of the weather, always needing to be cool, so very open. But your kitchen is a defined space, isn't it? So although there's not a doorway, you can still go from your dining room into your kitchen. You can feel the subtleties of those entries and moving through those spaces, and that's kind of fun to do. And so you might be in your kitchen and it has its own space, it has its own defined little area. So you're in your kitchen and your dining area might be completely part of the kitchen, and you'll feel how they're actually part of the one space. That's something you can explore too. Is my kitchen dining lounge part of that one space and not so defined, or do you have the kitchen, often with the kitchen bench, and then you can move out into the dining area and then into the lounge? You might even have the furniture that defines those spaces. So there's the kitchen table, there's the lounge that defines that space. So it's not even necessarily has to have a door as such, but you'll feel the subtleties of the boundaries and the subtleties of defining these areas. That's fun to explore. And feel that. Feel yourself moving through those spaces. And definitely practice with your doorways. Maybe you've got laundry that has a doorway, or maybe there's no door and you go through their own little portal into the laundry. Have some fun with that and feel the differences. I work with this with my lovely students, and there is the phase of, this is so annoying and I've got so much resistance, I just don't want to do this anymore. But that's a part of it. Let's acknowledge that, let's accept that, and do it anyway, and just see how much more present that you do become, and consciously aware of the energy around you and just the subtle differences even in your own home. It's a whole other thing too, being out in the shopping centre. Do you ever walk up to the doors and they don't open? I have that a lot. And then someone comes on the other side and opens the door. Also monitor that as well. It's good to have boundaries and to have your energetic hygiene, your protection feels when you're out in public spaces, to really know thyself and to have that boundary and protection feel, so you're only open to unconditional love and above, and you're not going to be washed over, or particularly when you're very sensitive and being knocked around by all the energies, particularly in a shopping centre. We can talk about that at another time, but just to be conscious of, as you walk through into the big shopping centre, feel the space that you're leaving and feel the space that you're entering. You might move into different shops inside the shopping centre and feel really conscious, aware of that, and feel yourself moving through those different doorways and entries and exits, and in your workplace. And the car, I think we'll do the car and talk about that at another time, because that's one of the most dangerous places we can be out on the road, and it's one of the most important places to be so conscious and aware, so focused. But just for now, put your hand on the door. You're going to get in the car. I'm present, I'm aware. Thank you, lots of gratitude. Make sure your protection fields are up, your protection shields. I do work with a safe driving protocol, so we will do that in another moment. But just make sure you're conscious and aware, and as you get in to the car, and then you're in your car, in your protection bubble, because then you're in your car and you're moving through spaces as well. But anyway, for now, just explore that, have some fun with that, get annoyed by it, get frustrated, feel how slow that is to start with. But then as you practice more, you'll just be able to move around and move through your house and just feel the subtle differences. And the other thing I wanted to share too, if you're going to a friend's house as well, it's about being conscious and aware and present. It's also about being respectful. So it's respecting yourself, your boundaries, respecting your energy, and it's also being respectful of other people's energy, their boundaries, and respectful of other people's spaces. You might have experienced people come into your home and they look at everything and they want to touch stuff, and it's like, ooh, it feels a bit violating, because they're not being conscious and aware, and they're not being respectful of your space and your energy. And so we'll bring that in as another component to be conscious and aware and respectful of, because you're starting to commune with the energies, with the unseen energies in your own home, and the energies that work with you. You're upstairs, and if you have a sacred space in your room, a meditation space, the energies there, it's sacred. You don't want people stomping in there and throwing their energy around and being all disrespectful. So that's another component to it as well, to be respectful. And so that's a little thing to practice if you're going to a friend's house, you're at the front door. Oh, thank you. And you're going to move through into that space respectfully, because you're entering another space. They've invited you, and you're entering that space respectfully. That's a really cool exercise too. And then you'll see it the other way around. When people come into your space, how respectful are they? To be conscious and aware. People don't mean to be disrespectful, but they can just be not aware, not conscious of what they're doing with their energy. Or you might be really sensitive and feel that, which is why we work with boundaries and we work with cord clearing and our simple protection and clearing, so that we can be more conscious and aware of the energy around us. And even if you're moving into your space or you're at home, you've got kids, practice too moving into their space, because you'll feel the space you're leaving, the space you're moving into. But you're getting more conscious and aware of the energies around you. And that's like when we go to sacred sites. This is such an important thing as well, because you're going to commune with the energies there. You're moving into a sacred space with nature, with the earth energies, with whatever the guardian energies there are. That's a whole other area too, but we begin right here with us, just in our own home, practicing that to come into more conscious awareness and presence. And practice that conscious awareness of the energies around us, the spaces that we're moving through, that conscious awareness and respect of the energies. So enjoy, have fun with that.